Dubai thinks it's the future, but forgot people actually need to walk places. This desert metropolis spent billions creating artificial islands shaped like palm trees, while its residents sit in 3-hour traffic jams because the metro only covers 15% of the city. Welcome to the world's most expensive parking lot with a beach view. The city's entire design philosophy seems to be, what if we made everything as far apart as possible? The Marina and JBR districts pack 120,000 people into towers, but provide exactly 0 grocery stores at ground level. Walking from your apartment to the beach 200 meters away means navigating a 14-lane highway with no crosswalk. They built the world's tallest building but forgot sidewalks. The Burj Khalifa sits on Sheikh Zayed Road, a 12-lane nightmare where pedestrians play real-life Frogger. Summer temperatures hit 50 degrees Celsius, 122 degrees Fahrenheit. Yet they designed outdoor spaces with 0 shade. The city's solution to everything is air conditioning, burning enough energy to power entire countries. Property developers promised sustainable living while building ski slopes in the desert. That's not city planning, that's city scamming. Houston proudly has no zoning laws, and it shows. You can build a strip club next to a school, a chemical plant next to houses, and nobody can stop you. This free-for-all approach created America's most chaotic cityscape, where nothing makes sense and everything floods. The city spreads across 670 square miles with the population density of a rural farm. The famous Be Someone graffiti bridge overlooks 26 lanes of highway interchange. That's not traffic infrastructure, that's concrete cancer. Houston has 640 square miles of sprawl, but only 50 miles of rail. The average resident spends $12,000 yearly on car expenses because being a pedestrian is considered an extreme sport. They paved over 40% of the wetlands that naturally absorbed rainfall, then act surprised when Harvey dumped 50 inches and turned highways into rivers. The city's drainage system was designed in 1940 for a population 1/4 of today's size. Every tropical storm becomes an apocalypse. Your morning commute from Katy to downtown takes 90 minutes to travel 30 miles. You know your urban planning failed when ambulances can't reach hospitals during rush hour. Perth sits 2,700 kilometers from any other major city, making it possibly the most isolated metropolis on Earth. But instead of building up, Perth built out, creating suburban sprawl that would make Phoenix jealous. The metropolitan area stretches 150 kilometers north to south along the coast, but it's only 50 kilometers wide. It's basically a giant parking lot with a beach. The population density is lower than most rural towns in Europe. Public transit exists in theory but not practice. Buses run once per hour on weekends if they show up at all. The train system has 5 lines that all run north-south, so traveling east-west means driving. They're building suburbs 80 kilometers from the CBD where the nearest grocery store is a 20-minute drive. New developments like Ellenbrook waited 30 years for promised rail connections while residents burned through cars like disposable razors. The city's water supply depends on rainfall that's decreased 20% since 1970, yet they're still building pools in every backyard. Traffic congestion costs the economy $2 billion annually, but the solution is always just one more highway lane. Downtown Perth becomes a ghost town after 6 p.m. because everyone is stuck in their cars an hour away. Brasília was supposed to be the city of the future, but the future apparently doesn't include humans. The city looks amazing from an airplane, shaped like a bird or bow and arrow, depending on your imagination. But try living there. The residential superblocks sound great until you realize they're 400 meters apart with empty grass between them. That's a 10-minute walk through nothing to visit your neighbor. The city center is just government buildings and banks. No shops, no cafes, no life. Workers flood in at 9 a.m. and evacuate at 5 p.m. as if a siren has gone off. They separated everything by function. Banking sector, hotel sector, hospital sector. Want to grab lunch after your doctor's appointment? Drive 15 minutes to the restaurant sector. The monumental axis is a 6-lane highway with ministry buildings lined up like dominoes. Crossing it on foot requires waiting for a 5-minute traffic light cycle. The cathedral's entrance is underground because apparently God loves basements. The residential wings were designed for 500,000 people max, but 3 million live in the metro area now, mostly in unplanned satellite cities. These favelas have more street life than the planned center. The city that was supposed to eliminate class divisions created Brazil's most segregated metro area. Brussels is the de facto capital of Europe, but can't figure out basic urban planning. This is what happens when you let 19 different municipalities run one city with 0 coordination. The city demolished entire neighborhoods in the 1960s for office buildings that look like parking garages. The Mont des Arts, meant to be a cultural garden, is now a concrete wasteland with a view of more concrete. They built the Berlaymont, the EU headquarters, on top of a medieval street pattern, creating permanent traffic chaos. The inner ring road cuts straight through neighborhoods, spewing pollution while moving at walking speed during rush hour. Different districts have different rules for everything: parking, construction, even garbage collection. Your recycling day changes when you cross the street. The North Quarter was bulldozed for a business district that never materialized, leaving empty lots for 40 years. The city has 3 incompatible public transit systems because the regions can't agree on anything. A metro ticket doesn't work on buses run by different companies. Property developers have more power than city planners, which explains why every historic building becomes luxury apartments. The ground place is gorgeous, but walk 200 meters in any direction and you're in urban hell. Calgary sprawls across 850 square kilometers of prairie with the population density of a suburb. The entire city is designed around the assumption that everyone drives a pickup truck and loves it. Downtown has plus 15 skyways because walking outside in winter is a form of self-punishment. The downtown is a ghost town of office towers connected by hamster tubes. The suburbs sprawl endlessly in every direction with identical houses and identical strip malls. Communities like Tuscany are 20 kilometers from downtown with exactly one road connecting them. Miss your exit? Enjoy your 20-minute detour. The C train covers a fraction of the city, and buses stop running at 11 p.m. Hope you didn't want a social life. New communities are built without sidewalks because everyone drives anyway. They're building on floodplains despite 2013's billion-dollar disaster. Apparently they think water respects property lines. Winter city design means 6 months of ice-covered sidewalks because clearing them is property owner responsibility. Property taxes fund suburban expansion while inner-city infrastructure crumbles. Beijing's ring roads were supposed to organize the city, but instead created concentric circles of traffic hell. Each ring becomes a wall that divides rather than connects. The Forbidden City sits at the center, surrounded by 6 ring roads like a target for traffic missiles. The second ring follows the old city walls, creating a 32-kilometer parking lot during rush hour. Now all 6 rings are congested simultaneously from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. The city adds 1,000 new cars daily, but parking spaces increase by 100. Subway trains are so crowded that professional pushers shove people inside. The system carries 10 million daily riders through infrastructure built for 4 million. They demolished traditional Hutong neighborhoods for 8-lane roads that filled with traffic instantly. They're building a 7th ring road because surely this time it'll fix everything. Bicycles, once Beijing's signature transport, are banned from major roads. The city that invented bike sharing now treats cyclists like criminals. Housing costs force workers to live in 6th ring suburbs, commuting 4 hours daily. The government's solution? License plate lotteries with 1 in 2,000 odds. That's not urban planning, that's urban gambling. Phoenix shouldn't exist. It's a desert city that uses more water per capita than Seattle, spreads across 500 square miles of sun-blasted sprawl, and considers 45 degrees Celsius, 113 degrees Fahrenheit, nice weather. The city is a grid of 6-lane arterials spaced 1 mile apart, creating superblocks of suburban hell. Every trip requires getting on a 45-mile-per-hour road where pedestrians are target practice. They built 60 miles of light rail that nobody rides because the stops are in the middle of highways. Walking to the station means crossing 8 lanes of traffic in 115-degree heat. The city has more golf courses than libraries, using enough water to supply 500,000 homes. Your grass lawn requires 100 gallons daily to stay alive in a place where rain is theoretical. Urban planning means approving another subdivision 40 miles from downtown, where the nearest anything is a 30-minute drive. They're building suburbs so far out that they're technically in Mexico. The heat island effect makes downtown 20 degrees Fahrenheit hotter than the desert. Water comes from the Colorado River, which is drying up, but they keep building like it's Seattle. Phoenix proves that just because you can build a city somewhere doesn't mean you should. Urban planning can either elevate human life or turn it into expensive suffering. These cities chose suffering. Like this video if your city made better choices. Subscribe for more urban reality checks.